So, if you're new to this, it's just me sitting here playing some guitar, just basically warming up, practicing, whatever. And then whenever someone has a question, I will try my very best to answer it. And I'm also here to just tell you that you can join the practice room, which is my almost up to 800 people community, where just super nice people that all want to get better at playing this instrument. So if that sounds like something for you, check it out. You have a link below. Also gonna try to put it in the chat actually. There we go. And the new thing here is you can also upgrade to the premium plan, and then you get a ton of basically courses and weekly updates, and you can get some help from me as well as it pertains to the courses. And yeah, it's just a good midway to Practice Room Pro, where I actually write a practice schedule for you. So it's you know, whatever reason you can't afford the Pro, or you're not interested, this is a good midway, even though it's not as hands-on. Hey, Vlad. Yeah, I would say so. Oh, I need to choose the stream. There we go. Hey, Jelly. So it's basically like an autumn break here. I mean, it doesn't affect me much, but my family's home and all that stuff. So, and today we had to go outside and get rid of all the leaves on the deck, which is, one way it's a ball ache, but on the other hand, I get to have a deck that looks nice, so shouldn't complain. Just takes a long time. So any questions, just go right ahead. Well, this is kind of like waking up. Not really. I played guitar already today, but I don't warm up for these. That's cheating. No, it's not cheating, but it's you know, I'm not here to try to be like, hey, look at me, I can play fast, you know. So if I've been playing, you know, fairly normally, I should be able to play, you know, most things as I wake up as well. Even though that, well, actually, just when I wake up, I might be, you know, I'm 46, I will be old and old creaky and stuff. But in general, yes. I think you can as well. It's just the only thing that happens when you get better and better is that your lowest level goes up, right? So things that when I started playing would be impossible, even on my best day, I can play now, you know, hungover, just woke up with a splitting headache. Whereas, you know, as you get better and better, that, not ceiling, but the floor should hopefully go up. So whatever is your floor, you will be able to play as well, even, you know, not under ideal circumstances. But you know, the more I warm up or play, the easier things will get. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that I would have would be harder for me to play as I just wake up. But generally, that would be things that are maybe things I'm working on, and that's not completely, you know, online, so to speak. So I think the whole concept of overlearning is a really good one. And basically that's just science speak for keep practicing. If you have something down, but you keep doing it for, you know, a few hundred reps more or something like that over a period of time, it gets to the point where it's you don't need to think about it at all. Actually, Chris Thile, one of my favorite musicians, the mandolinist, he was on Rick Beato recently and talked about playing those Bach violin partitas on the mandolin. Amazing. Totally, yeah, it's crazy. And he's very legit. He recorded a trio album with Jojo Ma, and I mean, if you if you do classical music with him, then that's pretty much the best stamp of approval you can get. But anyway, he talked about, you know, he needs to get the music to a point where he doesn't have to think about it, right? And I think that's a good thing. Hey Joe, nice to see you, man. And I think, as I posted in the practice room, I don't know if you saw that, Vlad, in the big group, was this from Tone Bass, this violinist. Now, I haven't heard this lady play, but I assume she can play really well. But she talked about practicing and how all that stuff works, and it very much mirrors what I've talked about for a long time, where she said a lot of students, they do something and they screw it up, and then they get it right once, and then like, yeah, I got it now, and they move on. But that's not it. You need to have way more good reps than bad reps, because that's how we learn. That's even the muscle memory thing. You need to have more good reps, so your body and brain can have a sort of very clear idea what you want it to do. So, hey Josh, nice to see you, man. And I think that's so important. I would say on a good day, maybe 4 or 5 hours. A bad day, less than 1. But I really do, you know, it's that constant balance of like, I need to get the word out about, you know, about the practice room and all that stuff. So, because that's also how I make my living. But equally, I can't just do that, because if I suck, why would anyone want to listen to what I have to say? So, and also more than that, it's more like I want to get better all the time. So, ho ho ho, again. So yeah, it's a balance, but and I do agree with who was that? I think it was Chris Thile as well who said it, but not during this Rick Beato thing, where he talked about like if he plays for 2 hours per day, that's just maintenance for him. So he needs to get into like this 3 hour plus to feel progress, and I can actually agree with that. Yes, it's super premium exclusive. No, that stream will be inside the practice room, Vinelius. But I will start that once we have enough members, because currently it's too few, so it's just pointless to sit there. Hey, Julian. And that will be put in the calendar, so you won't miss it. You will see, like at the top of the forum, it will say, you know, Q&A happens in 3 days, blah blah blah. And then also I will make sure that an email goes out. I think it's the day before or something, but you won't miss it if you're in the forum. Yeah, I think that's why it's important to not be static with your tempos. Like, you know, slow is a spectrum, and it should be slow enough so you can focus on, I mean, at least for me, I want to focus on the things that are going to make a difference. So it's if you have a hard time to make good reps, then slow it down, because you're better off doing half as many reps but they're perfect than trying to get more reps in but they're kind of 70-80% there. Does that make sense? And you know, most things will be feel a bit like ugh in the morning, but it's definitely worth doing. So I've been started working a lot more on the Gambale type approach, because he's very good, and I think there's things there I can unlock that, you know, I still do a lot of economy picking now, but also a lot of alternate picking. And I'm not going to stop doing alternate picking, but I'm just interested to see what kind of things you can come up with when you actually go all in on that thing for a while. Yeah, so well, all the tempos, those are just, you know, for me, 80 BPMs, eighth notes is really a top tempo for me when if I'm sitting there repeating something. Because I want to be able to get the transition time, but also get the finger choreography and all that stuff. So, hey Juan, a quick question: what pickups does your Solar have? Nah, it's just the stock ones. I think they're called Solar, and it's Seymour Duncan, but it's like Ola's thing. wouldn't say there's an elastic concept in terms of like either you have a flam or you don't. And yes, you can have a bigger flam, but that's still a flam. So it's like, you know, either you're in first place or you're not, or you can't be kind of pregnant. So there's definitely a point where it's bang on the money or it's not. So. And also it's harder to hear that the faster you play. So. Unless you go totally out of, you know, do that shit. So. Yeah, but I think for this type of practice, so you want to be right on the click, because it's not really, you're not trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be more laid back, you know, or I'm going to be more on top of the beat or whatever. You don't want to try to do like the So What solo by Miles Davis type of timing when you do this, whereas like you're so far back you're almost falling off the chair. So. I think Ola said that these are like medium output, they're not super hot. So, and that's the extent of my knowledge of stuff. I think Ola said, I have no idea. But they don't feel like over distorting to me. Okay, there's really a thing where really being able to nail the beat exactly will help your overall timing anyway. So I wouldn't try to do too much when you do things. Like if you're working on a technique, some people are like, oh, I need to work on this new scale position while I'm working on technique, and I'm also going to work on my timing, and I'm going to put the metronome on the last 16th note of every beat, and I'm going to do this. And it's like, it's a bit, you're splitting your brain in like 5 different directions. So probably better off focusing on one thing and really doing that properly, and then doing the other thing properly. So at least in my experience. So. Like really listening to what you're doing and really try to feel what you're doing. I'm not talking about like that type of feeling. It's more about what does it feel like when you play. So. This is the rail now. Much of a difference in terms of volume, and I kind of want, you know, and actually if I do this I get the single version here, and I like that as well, because there's something about the definition you get when you use the single coil. So I found that like having a humbucker here and using the what's it called? Using the neck pickup, it can really sound like very muddy. And some people like that. I'm not a huge fan. Saying that, I must say that Petrucci's sound on Images and Words when he went to the neck pickup was really, really good. So I like that. I think I have the Air Norton remember. It's just such a weird name, so I remembered it. But that's the pickup he had here. Is it a good sounding pickup, you think? And is that especially for using in this position, or was it just something that Petrucci did? Cool. Maybe I should check that out. So anyone tried the Charvel, the pink one? I had a student that had one of those, and it seemed, for the price, really, you know, well made. So we're a bit interested. Anyone else have tried it? Oh, you have an Ibanez as well, Juan. For whatever reason, I thought you were more of a Strat guy. I think that's the one. It's 24 frets, pink. It's not a Floyd. It's just it's a trem, but it's not a Floyd Rose. Roasted maple neck, I believe. Yeah, that might be the one. Gingerbird. Just love these usernames. Yeah, I like the look of them as well. Well, I'm too much of a retard to even want to start fiddling with a Floyd Rose. There's that. Vlad, have you ever done pre-post playing massage like the one from Rock? No, I haven't. Actually, when I went to GIT, that video came out then, and I had a Swedish, not colleague, student. He was in my class, and he had done these stretches, not taken from the rock discipline thing, but he got it from some other warm-up thing, and he basically ripped a tendon or something. He gets, yeah, and that was probably his fault. But I was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm the same in the gym though. If I'm doing some heavy lifts, I will warm up with the same motion movement, right? So if I'm gonna do, I don't know, bench press or whatever, something manly, I will warm up with, 50% of the goal weight for maybe 8 to 10 reps, and then I do another, depending on how much warm up I need, but maybe I do 60%, 7%, whatever, 70 I mean, and then do the lift. So I kind of approach guitar the same way. So I don't really sit there and like, I just play. And actually, one of the other warm-ups from Rock Discipline, not to shit on Petrucci, a student who was a medical student. I just mentioned that because he wasn't a dummy, right? And he did this exercise where you keep moving a finger down, and he just kept pushing it, which was not a smart thing to do. And then he felt something pop here, so he basically had to eventually have surgery and open up and clean whatever happened in here. So yeah, so I'm very, very mindful of any like big stretches and things like that. I love Floyd as well, but I don't love dealing with intonation and setup and all that stuff. I would say though, a good warm-up you can do, and if you're, not if you're driving, but if you're on the way home and you're in like public transport and a side benefit here is that you probably get to sit by yourself if you do this. Just on your forearm, do this. So you grab it like you grab the neck, and then you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, and go through all the 24 finger combinations. That's a really good warm up for the fretting hand. And you might be like, whoa, I don't have any strings on my arm, but what you're working when you do it on the strings, same thing with the, at least as far as the fretting hand is concerned, is that you send a signal from the brain to the correct finger, hopefully. So you can do that anywhere. So. Well, I'm not too into like having all these dive bombs and whatever. I don't care about that, but I love the vibrato you get with a whammy bar, and the kind of phrasing you can slide into chords and get some good vibrato on it, which is kind of tricky without it. So, just waiting for questions. I've started to incorporate a bit of hybrid picking. Any tips or routine that can help? Well, tips, yes. Just make sure you get the rest strokes, well, not rest strokes, the planting correct. So, call this ambulance. No, I don't. But it sounds really annoying, but you learn to prepare the finger you're gonna play, because you never want to strike from there, like they don't want to do this, that. So, and for a really good routine to get started, you should check out the premium version of the practice room, because there you get the full hybrid picking deep dive among a shit ton of other things. For the go-arounds, do you do hammer rolls only and from the behind below you with the hammer rolls? No, I don't. I practice that though, because it's I like the sound of it as well, but just certain things are downsides to doing all hammers, and you don't need to. You can still do pull-offs, but you do them lightly, so you don't need to go to avoid that meowing sound, as Holdsworth called it. And one of my favorite legato players is Tom Quayle, and he actually does pull-offs as well. So, and he sounds really fluid. So if you have a lighter, snappier touch when you do pull-offs, you can sound just as good as doing all hammers. But I think the added benefit of doing actual pull-offs is that if I'm doing a sweep like this, I can't do, if I'm not used to doing all hammers, I can't hammer and get this to work, right? I can't hammer and do that. And maybe you can, but no. Just doing a pull-off, very easy. So there's just things like that, certain things that will be very annoying to play with all hammers. But, you know, then again, Holdsworth played whatever you wanted in different ways. So it's not like you have to do those patterns. But the patterns that I tend to use a lot for sweep picking or whatever it might be, would be a real ball ache to try to do with all hammers. No, it's not really strength either. It's more about, so if you try this yourself, right? And why I do this, so I don't have to worry about strings ringing. So if you do this, and I'm on the 8th fret here, you can be on whatever fret you want, but I just want to be able to mute comfortably. So basically, do this first on your guitar. Just take each finger. Try to find like how much do I actually need to hammer down to get a good sound. You don't need to do that. Same thing with all fingers. So however much force it takes for you to get a good tone, just like that, you won't need any more force when you do all hammers. So when this happens, where you feel like, oh, I didn't get the same volume here, what a lot of people do is they try to smack the string harder to get the tone, but Again, why you didn't get the tone when you went from right to left is because you didn't get this finger out of the way in synchronization with getting this finger down. So that's where the timing issue comes in. So it's more of a timing thing, really. And a funny thing is that when people do descending picking like that, and they're like, oh, it's much harder than doing ascending picking, but most of the time it's not because the picking is harder, it's because their timing is off when they do descending runs. And because the timing here, I need to get the finger down exactly right whether I pick it or not. So it's more of a timing workout thing. So, and another thing that it does, it gives you a feel for what playing pull-offs and hammer-ons at a faster tempo, the feel you need to have in the left hand or fretting hand. For you who are really like, some people are really weird. Like if I say left hand, like then they're like, well, what about me? I play opposite, so that's my right hand. So that's why I'm saying fretting hand, just to appease the weirdos. So if you're a weirdo, feel appeased. Anyway, it's just, and I'm not saying that you're weirdo because you play the other way around. I'm just saying you're a bit of a weirdo when you get upset when I don't call out the exact correct limb in your circumstance. You snowflake. Anyway, sorry. It's more of a building timing than anything else. And this feels very similar to... You can play faster descending, like this. Or did you get that wrong? This would be ascending, where you get the notes go up in pitch, so to speak. And descending is when you do that. If you can play faster descending, well, then it might be that there's an actual picking issue you have. There's a lot of snowflakes out there, Joe, as you well know. And if you got offended by what I just said, you might be one. What you can do then, what's your name, Ginger Birdie? Is it, because I doubt it's Ginger Birdie. I also just call you GB. But you know, that can be a picking thing as well. So it's not that it has to be a part of a so a good way to check that out is just play, if you have a descending thing like that, just do the same thing but with one note at a time. So you go like that. Alright, hi Rob. That's easier than going, then it might be a right hand thing, right? So you struggle more with these two. The lowest one here is quite common because especially if you're used to like resting your hand on the strings when you play here. Here kind of run out of room, but what you can do is that you kind of rest it a little bit on the body of the guitar. That can help. Or if you use a finger. I tend to use a finger because it feels more stable and I can move my right hand a bit more. So. So one thing I would avoid though is doing this, where you start here and then you just keep it locked in, and then you try to do this instead of moving the hand as you play along. Because you want to, well, at least I do, I want a, you know, more uniform sound, and the more you angle the pick, the more you're gonna get from the pick, and it's just gonna change the tone. So I think you're better off keeping the angle, whatever you find the nicest sound-wise, and then finding a way to be able to move your hand, or arm in this case. So when I play this, it might look like I use more arm than I'm actually doing, because I try to move this direction as well with the arm, but on a single string it's more wrist than arm, if that makes sense. Oh, 2 membership requests. Heiko, approve. Is that you, Rob? Rob Clasper. In that case, you're in the practice room now. I think that's quite common, you know, having. That's usually what I see. I rarely see people be like, yeah, I have a real trouble with the D and G string. It's usually, you know, the opposite ends of the spectrum, so to speak. And I think it's a good idea to try to find like why that is, and not just, oh, I guess I'll just practice more. You probably will need to practice more as well, but if you find it that you can do like good picking here, but it falls apart here or here, then you might want to see like, okay, it works well here, can I recreate that motion down here or up here? And that usually solves things quicker. And also try to find a way that feels natural. I think it was Frank Gambale who said this, like he taught a lot at GIT, and so like, that's just relax, you know, find something natural and relax, because he said he's seen a lot of people go like, put their body in some quite weird positions to play, and I think the more natural you can do it, as in natural for your body, like just plop your hand down here, what feels natural, and then go for that, and listen as well. I think listening is the most important thing, but you know, I think some people get stuck in looking at either hand too much and being like, oh, it should look like, you know, insert favorite player here. But unless you're the same, you know, size as him, as far or her, as far as like length of your limbs and how tall you are and all that stuff, it's hard to just take someone's biomechanics and apply it to yourself. There's principles you can use, but just trying to copy someone outright can be very tricky. And I've said this a million times, but if you look at, for picking, for example, Steve Morse, Vinnie Moore, John Petrucci, Eric Johnson, Yngwie, Demiola, John McLaughlin, endless list of people, they all do it either slightly or wildly different, and they all sound great. So if someone tries to sell you on like, this is the way to do it, especially if they try to literally sell you a course on like, hold the pick my way and you will be 33% better, that's probably bullshit. It might work great for that person who sells the course, but you know. just throw any questions you have my way. Let's see. Ooh, maybe. Nah. Hey, Chris. Right in time for, you know, setting phasers to stun. No, it's a phaser. Yeah, it might be, Chris, but also I get a lot of the same questions, and I have no problems answering that. And some smart dude said people need to be reminded more than taught. And that makes so much sense, you know. If you really want to annoy people, you can do this. Let's see. Actually, chorus. It's a bit much. That was like my least favorite thing on the first Razor X live album, when Paul at the end of his solo turns on the harmonizer like I did now. Holy shit, that must have been excruciating for the crowd because they did not play at a low volume. And he's like, yeah, maybe I should pitch everything up an octave. You know, when I want to communicate with my dogs that only the dogs can hear, pitch it up 15 octaves. Yeah, I'm about done for today, but thanks for hanging out. Those are the ones that change octave by themselves, right? I wonder if I have some sort of plug-in here in, let's see. This might be absolutely horrendous. Let's see. Oops. Nope. Oh God. That's weird. What the hell? Hello? 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 No? What the hell did I do? Is it better now? Hello? Something weird happened. Yeah. So if all the sounds from Logic, the mic and the guitar. And when I change something on the guitar, somehow something changed in the mic as well. It's weird. Anyway, thanks for hanging, everyone. And if you haven't signed up for the absolutely free practice room, do that right now. You have that link below. And